Welcome to the Jersey to Vegas podcast. This podcast talks about the hows, whys, and what's next in your life journey. If you're looking to start fresh and turn over a new leaf, you're in the right place. Now, here's your host, Pete Isip.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Jersey to Vegas podcast. This is episode number 18, and today it's me. We're going to talk about what my psychiatrist is doing with me. What also we're going to talk about is pretty much what I've been up to. That's a question from Instagram. What have you been up to? And a couple other questions from Instagram we're going to go over. So thank you again for coming out today. And I want to start off by shouting out our sponsors. Our sponsors are Greenville Coffee and Boost Fitness and Boost Performance in Nutley, New Jersey. So making sure that you guys get that. So hold on for a second, jump and or hold on for a couple minutes while we introduce our sponsors. All right, we're going to take a quick break. As this clock runs down, we're going to hear a little bit from our sponsors. I'm really happy we have them. It is Greenville Coffee. He is in Jersey City. You may know him. It's Coach Ames. Coach Ames's coffee product. I'm a big fan, and finally getting it shipped out here into the West Coast. I miss it. I miss the smell. I miss the aroma. I miss the twists and the combinations this guy puts into it. Very creative, very tasty, and you can tell that he loves coffee and he loves the way the product comes out. So if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you check out Greenville Coffee on Instagram, and then Greenville Coffee is Instagram. All right, so go check it out, follow, like, and then definitely place an order for something. Let him know the Jersey to Vegas podcast sent you. I'm sure he'll take care of you in a way because he's a very hardworking man. But not only that, he's a great fucking person. Straight up, one of the greatest dudes I've ever met in my entire life, and I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry giving someone a compliment because he's that good of a dude, and I'm very lucky to call him my friend. So. Let's hear from them, and we'll be right back. Also like to give a big shout out to our Patreons. Patreon's a big fundraiser for the channel. So if you guys are interested in helping out the channel and you really like supporting the things that we do here, then definitely hit our Patreon at patreon.com/Jersey to Vegas. And please do what you can. $5, $10, $25, whatever you feel, whatever is in your heart to give, to accept. So thank you. And then you can be part of the Patreon crew. I do appreciate that. Just in case you end up watching the first part after about 3 minutes, this video here is going to turn off because it ran out of a card. So you're going to go from this camera angle. So hang on for like a couple more minutes and then we're going to get back to the double angle. Okay, welcome back, and we're going to open up with what my psychiatrist or my therapist is doing with me presently. Presently, we're working on Grieving. If you guys haven't listened to the past couple podcasts, make sure you do that. But otherwise, I've been working the process of grieving. Now, did I lose family members? Yes. Did I lose friends? Not really. But at the same time, I did lose friends. I mean, to death. To the other world I'm talking about. But I did lose a lot of friends. I did lose my business. I did lose my identity. And a lot of people don't think that's important. They think that the grieving process only has to go and have to do with someone dying or passing. And that's not true. And I thought so too. I thought that, hey, you just lost everything. So be a man, buckle up, and start getting back into it. But that's not the way it works, does it? No. It's actually have to go through a process of this. And right now I'm in a big process of trying to cope with the fact that I'm no longer in New Jersey. Cope with the fact that I really don't have any friends physically. I have them in my heart and I have them on FaceTime, which is cool, but it just doesn't count. And the point that I'm coping with the fact that I lost my business, my home, my everything. But fortunate enough to have a home, fortunate enough to have a family, fortunate enough to have another chance. So that's where I'm at. And a lot of people have seen the downward spiral of myself. And at the same time, I want them to see my hero's journey. And I believe that is, I talked about it in my my YouTube live this past Sunday, that the hero's journey is the last part of the grieving process. And I want you guys to see that. That's why I'm documenting all this shit. That's why all of this is happening. Because I know I'm going to bounce back. I know I'm going to get out of that rut. And I am. I'm really getting out of it. And we're going to get into that in the second segment when we talk about what I'm up to or what are the things that I'm doing. But the one thing that I'm doing now, it's let's get this bad boy going. All right, so we're going to go to the psychiatrist. Did she text it to me or did she email it to me? She emailed it to me, I believe. And I'll find it. And it's pretty much a sheet, I think. All right, so Stacy is my therapist. And we're really going through it in a pretty big breakthrough we had going on with the grieving and really trying to lock it down, really trying to find out the triggers and what it is. And every time I talked about crank, I just cried. There's no other way. And all I picture when I'm doing it is I picture 55 Washington Avenue with the big ass fan and that expo board that keeps falling and the backyard that has glass and motor oil and the air conditioning that I kind of lost in the air conditioning that I lost thousands of dollars to, where it just went out the garage. What else was there? Broken windows, the graffiti, little things like that make me cry. And it's immediate. Once I start bringing it up and I start talking about it, this was the first week that I started talking about crank that I didn't cry out loud. I was tearing up, right? But I was also choking up, but I wasn't crying. Guys, I'm crying in therapy when I talk about crank. So the grieving process is working. The grieving process is going through it. So if you guys don't know the stages of grief, I'll go through really fast, is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And what they want me to do on this sheet, which I haven't filled out yet, I'm going to do it live, right? I haven't describe how each of these stages of grief have affected you. So I'm going to kind of go through this worksheet with you guys. And then after that, we'll go through the second segment, which is, what I've been up to. And the third segment will be the questions from Instagram. So denial. This can't be happening. Describe how each of these stages has affected you. Denial. So in denial, that was the first time when we just closed and I didn't believe it. And you could read it in my book how not believable. I didn't even think COVID was real. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't care that people were dying. I didn't even understand it. I was like, this is fake. This is propaganda. That's how I felt it. So let's just keep doing it. I tried to keep the gym open, and I tried to do whatever I can to make it survive. So I was in denial to the fact that we were in COVID-19 or in a pandemic. Number two was anger. Anger was through the entire process. I've been angry since, I guess, 2 years now. So I've been angry for a long time, trying to figure out why did this happen? What's going on? What's this? What is this shit? And why is it happening right now? And I just get angry, so many angry things to myself, and just be angry at other people, And then I was so angry that I would just seclude myself, so I wouldn't want to talk to people. I would kind of just lock myself into the closet and make sure I stayed home. I didn't text people back. So you watch the spiral go down. Bargaining. I will do anything to change this. Bargaining, I don't know if I ever bargained. I think the one time that I was like, please just let this pass and I would do anything, it was when we lost 88 and I chose to close the gym. I was hoping that for another extra free couple months, just because I couldn't pay the rent. I couldn't pay the rent with what we had pulled in with the people that left, and then whatever I had left over. And I'm not the person to fucking steal your money. I'm not the person to be like, hey, I'm going to charge $300 this month because I can't survive. No, I'm going to give you what's right. I'm going to give you what it's worth. And if that means I can't make it happen by giving honest prices and the honest way, well, then I don't deserve to be in business. And I didn't, because I couldn't make it. I couldn't do it. And that was probably the only time I kind of bargained with myself or bargained with God, where I was like, please do this for me and I'll do this. It was like, shit, we're really going to lose this place. And all this hard work that I just put in, like I just fucking opened. It's been not even a year. And I just opened there. Like the work that I put in to build and to renovate, and we did a lot of it ourselves because I didn't have the capital to do it with other people to do it. So I did all the renovations myself. All of it. Putting up fucking equipment. Me and my friends just went up there. And we did what we can to make that shit work. And I would spend countless hours doing it. And finally it was up, and then it got taken away really fast. It didn't even feel like we were there for that long. That's how fast it went. Depression. Well, we all know that. We all know what depression was, right? What's the point of going on after this loss? After I started getting depressed, I would say summertime, when I was just going and just drinking every day because I couldn't stand another day of going outside to work out. Best part about going outside to work out was hanging out with the people, and that was it for me. Work-wise, you could see I was not there. I started floating around. I started not paying attention. I was definitely drinking during class. I was drinking during Zooms. I was drinking during dog walks. Like that's how much I started drinking day to day, pretty much. If I took a day off, it was because I felt really guilty that I was drinking that much. And then, I wasn't to the point where I was getting sloppy, but I was at the point where I was using alcohol to cope. And I don't think that's something that we wanted to do. And then the last one is acceptance. And I feel like that's where I'm at now. So I'm in that last stage. I'm not even going to fill that out because I'm accepting right now. We could move into acceptance in the second part of this. So we're going to take a quick break for a sponsor plug, and then after that we'll go and talk about acceptance. All right, guys. So let's talk about acceptance. This kind of goes together with one of the questions on how am I doing? Is everything good? Are you doing okay? And I'm going to say yeah. Am I sad at times and at points? Absolutely. I definitely am. There's a lot of times where I sit down, think, and reflect. Like if you could see, I have windows, 1, 2, 3 windows where I look outside, and a lot of times I just look outside and kind of feel like Feifel from American History, not American History X, from American Tail, where I kind of look up at the moon and start singing to it, and then maybe someone else is like, da 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 da. That's not the song though. Oh wait. It's too high of a pitch. I'm not going to do it. But if I could play a segment of it, I would. But I can't because I don't know how to. But anyway, so American Tail was that was the reference, and that's kind of how I feel when it's sad. And for the most part now, what is helping me? Stand-up comedy, without a doubt. Being focused and goal-driven, again, has put me back on the horse. It took me away from, I'm no longer thinking that I'm a trainer. I'm no longer thinking that that's my job. I'm no longer thinking that fitness is the way for me. Like I have to go look for a job in the gym. No, I'm not. Is this a struggle? Yes. Am I heavily supported by my family? Yes. And I'm fortunate enough to do so. But I am taking stand-up comedy very seriously, and you will see me somewhere, and I will guarantee you that. That's 100%. Not that I need to, but, goals are goals, and I have mine. So I wrote them down. I'm not telling anyone any of them because there's no need to, but I do have some high goals. And if you know who I am, you know how I work, guess what you're going to see? You're going to see me reach them, and I'm not going to fucking stop until I do. And it's pretty determined. I'm pretty determined to do so. I do what I need to do. I practice what I need to practice. I try to find the right angles to play, and that's the game here, right? It's a lot easier to do stand-up here than it is in New York City due to commuting. There are some mics, not as many as the city. There are some clubs that have stuff, but not as many in the city. But it's also easier to drive there, hit a mic, and then come back home at a reasonable time without spending much money. If I go to the city, unless you live in the city as a comic, then you're good. You know, you get to do the comedy, you get to travel, commute, and it's not that expensive. If you live in New Jersey and you commute in, or Long Island or Connecticut, like some people do, well, then you're paying tolls to get into the city. Then you got to find a place to park your car near the venue, which is usually going to go into like a Park Fast or something, some parking lot, which is like $50. And then you have to buy a drink, and then you have to make your way out of there if you don't hit traffic, right? It's hours and hours of time and hundreds of dollars just to do an open mic. And for me, it doesn't roll well. I'll do it. You know, I started doing it before I left because I wanted to get back into it. But here it just feels a lot easier to do so. And me accepting the fact that I'm no longer who I was is huge. I no longer have the identity of Crank Pete. I kind of let him go. Am I still a good trainer? Yes. Do I still train people? Yes. I have nutritional clients. I have online clients. I still train people. But it doesn't define me. And stand-up comedy does not define me either. You know, these are just goals. These are just jobs. And I feel like that's what I have to do this time around. Because I made Crank Pete a thing. I made Crank Pete me. Crank Pete is who I am. Right? That's just my personality. But it became more than that. It became like workout. Had to work out. I had to do, if I showed up somewhere, I had to talk about working out. If I did this, I had to give someone advice. If I did this, I had to help them with some fitness or diet. And that became who I am. Or who I was. I don't know what words to use right there. Pronouns, proverbs, whatever you want to call it. I was Crank Pete. I'm no longer him. I am Pete Isip, and that's who I am. A genuinely loving father, a person that works hard, great with his friends. I know, understand exercise and nutrition, and I have a heart of gold. It's pretty easy to say for me now. You asked me to say that. If you asked me to say that out loud 2 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Because even me doing that now makes me fucking uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable talking nicely about myself that it's like sickening. It's sickening to like hear you're doing great. It's like shut up. I could do better. You know, but that's the mentality that I have, and that's what I work on. So how am I doing? How's everything going? I'm okay. There are times that I'm not either. So it's hard to come into that balance. I'm okay to the point where I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not okay in the point that I'm still trying to figure shit out. I hope that makes sense, if that's it. And if you guys hear the word I'm not okay, I got t-shirts that I put out on jerseytovegas.com. I have my book called I'm Not Okay coming out hopefully in a month or two, and then you can read that nonsense. And it's going to be a fun ride of the I Am Not Okay year, and then that's it. So it's pretty simple. You know, it's pretty simple to say that I've accepted the fact that we live in Las Vegas. I've accepted the fact that we've left New Jersey. I've accepted the fact that I have to change my license, which I'm probably not going to because they keep changing my appointment. And I've accepted the fact that I'm not going to get any snow this year. So people say, like I went to the doctors this morning, right, or the optometrist, because I have new glasses, thank God, because I can't see shit out here. I can't see. I'm driving blind. And they asked me, you moved here from New Jersey. How long ago? I said 4 months. They're like, oh, man, you're new here. You're very new. And I was like, yes, thank you. I do appreciate it. It's like, what do you like best about it? I was like, I don't know. I really don't know what I like best about it. I don't know why I'm making Kermit the Frog voices either. But I don't know what I like best about it because I've only been here for a couple months. So I do like it, but I think I need more time to understand it. You know, like, what's the biggest difference? I've given you the biggest difference, but now we're going to come into another season. Right now in New Jersey, my eyes would be on fire from scratching because of fall allergies. Here, nothing. Now what I'm waiting for is seasonal depression. Is there seasonal depression here? Am I going to be depressed? Am I going to feel down? I don't know. Number 3, how am I going to deal without snow? Am I going to enjoy no snow, or am I going to miss snow? A lot of weird things, a lot of questions that I have. Accepting the changes is the toughest part, but I'm getting through. My family's getting through, I'm getting through, and that's all that counts. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll get right back into it really fast. So go to the bathroom, take your leak, and I'll see you guys in a second. All right, and we're back, and let's get to these questions left on Instagram. We have a few here that some are a little more deeper than the next, but we'll start with, we see you bought a house. How do you feel about it? How do I feel? Yes, so recently we bought a house. It is a townhome, build your own. So we're building a townhouse, which will be probably ready in April. How do you feel about it? Well, the rental market here is increasing. And we pay less than $2,000 here for rent, where you're seeing this video happening. And within the next couple months, well, probably 6 more months, where our lease is going to be up. And with that said, our matching rent of other places as well as here have been rising up pretty high, right? They're getting over almost $2,000. So we know that our rent is going to increase once we re-sign the lease. Are we going to agree with that lease? No. So we planned ahead, right? And we looked around, we did some shopping, took months or two to go to open houses, to look around, and we looked at thousands of houses. To be honest with you, I'm actually sick of looking at houses. And we got to the fact that we kept coming to this one place that we looked at for fun, which is a build your own. And for the same price that you're looking at these houses for, which are a lot higher now than they were, just like New Jersey, right? Jersey, the house prices are ridiculous, obviously. And I could say, thank God, we were fortunate enough to make a nice penny off our house. So that's helping us in the process now. But at the same time, like here too, like to get a house that's worth $400,000 used to be worth like $250,000. You know what I'm trying to say? So now the inflation is really high, and that's cool. That's the game. But we couldn't find anything that was worth it. So we did our numbers. We crunched the numbers. What can we work with, and what are we willing to spend? And we found it. So we have a nice new one in a brand new community. There's no other houses there, and I think there's only 2 townhomes right now that are open. There's no pool or amenities. They're still building it. So the thing about Vegas, it doesn't stop building because there's no snow. So they're going to build faster now that it's not 119 degrees. And we're excited to start this whole new life out here. Now, is it forever? That's another thing. It's like, oh man, now you're never coming back. Guys, I'm just investing in a property. That's it. It's just like business. Will we stay in it? Maybe. Will we not and sell it and go somewhere else? Maybe. We can't guarantee things, and we're not going to look that far down the line. Sure, we bought the house, but it was a financial investment and a financial decision. It wasn't based off, hey, we love Las Vegas, let's just buy a house and live here. It's no. If rent is going to be this much money, we might as well put money down into a mortgage because we have the down payment money, so at least we can profit from it and or make a better decision than just giving someone our money. That's why we did it. So the reason a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're never coming back. No, it's for real. Yeah, it is for real, but it's not long term. We may come back. You'll never know. I cannot predict. No one predicted the pandemic. No one can predict if we're going to come back. That's 2 completely different realms, but at the same time, that's it. So yes, it was a financial decision based off what we had and what we can budget, and it worked out into our favor, and hopefully it comes out to be really nice, and we'll actually have a nice little studio up there. All right, on to the next question. Do you believe it's important to connect mind, body, to heal and live stress-free? Okay, that's a good question. So now this is more of a Zuzu type new age question. Do you believe it's important to connect the mind and body to heal? Yes. No matter what, mind and body. That's why I made my YouTube channel about mental and physical health, because it's together, right? I can be physically fit as much as I can, but mentally I'm completely lost. And most people use fitness as their reason to heal. Right? Most people use working out and exercise and dieting to feel better about themselves because deep down inside and mentally they don't feel good at all. So that's why exercise is important, because it does relieve depression. It does relieve anxiety. It does relieve self-image issues and or self-worth issues. right? It makes you feel good about yourself, and that's why people rely on exercise. If you took exercise away from someone, say someone got hurt and they were mentally distraught, aka myself, they're going to lose their mind unless they find another outlet or another way to cope with it. So having the mind and body connection is very, very important. You can't get away with it. There's no way you can get away with having both separate. It's false. False. You can get away with it. Are you going to be successful in both? No. Okay, it has to have a connection. Your mind and body have to be in the same right mind place. Once your body's in tune with your mind and your mind is in tune with your body, shit, you're unstoppable. That's when you feel great. And there's moments in life where we're like that. There's moments in life where we're like, all these cylinders are firing all at once and I feel like an amazing person, right? And that's when you're on. That's when you know it's right. So I do think it's very important to have your mind and body connection in order to heal, because I can't heal if my brain is somewhere else. No matter how much I work on dieting, no matter how much I work on nutrition, if my body's messed up, my mind's gonna be messed up, right? And if my mind's messed up, my body's gonna be messed up. Honestly, I don't even think you can lose weight if your mind's messed up, because here's a perfect example is myself. I've gained almost 30 pounds. I reached 196, so I was close to 200 pounds because of the medication that I'm on, plus I don't know. I don't understand it, because I understand nutrition, I understand macros, I understand dieting, I understand protocol. I gave myself all of them. I gained 20 pounds. I can't control it, because of the medication that I'm on. It does make you gain weight, and that's something you can't fight. So I had to accept the fact that this is going to do this, and I have to do other ways. I have to find other ways to work around it to make sure that I could get away from that 200 mark, because I'm not going to be 200 pounds. I could feel it in my bones. I could feel it in my joints when I run or jog. I could feel it. Like, it's just harder. It's heavier. Like, I have a heavier squat now because it's almost 200 pounds when I do body weight squat. So that's a lot. And if I run a mile, that's a long time for a weight that my body's not used to carrying, right? It's not used to carrying that weight. And I'm not connected that way. But now it's starting to, now with the right switches of medication and, now the proper diet that I know that I don't like, but I have to do it because it's the only one that's going to counter the medication, well, then I've already lost 13 pounds. So with that said, my mind and body started to connect a little bit more. Can you describe the physical impact of emotional trauma? I'm going to save that one. I'm going to save that one because I want to think deeper into that one, because that's a good one. It's called, say it again, can you describe the physical impact of emotional trauma? I've been through so much emotional trauma, I don't even know what to do with myself. So I'm going to map that one out. I'm going to give you phases of it. I'm going to give you examples of it, and I want to really expand this one. Maybe it'll be another episode. And that was the key to describe emotional trauma. Do you believe in porn? Coping good on the outside example. Okay, so we talked about that too. Here's a third one. High-level coping can look good on the outside. Example, someone in shape and smiling. Yes, high-level coping is what we talked about before. People use exercise and being in shape as a way to cope with their mental illness or with their mental health. So just because someone looks away, it doesn't mean, because they're smiling, they look like they got everything together, it doesn't mean they are. So don't follow the stigmas of a mental ill person has to look like an emo kid that's just with his head down in the blankets, in the gutters with a pale face. And then a person that, is a champion is smiling and well-groomed and walking around talking to people. They can both have mental illness. They can both be mentally fucking screwed. So you can't judge the way people look on how their brain is working. I think I covered it up pretty well. Unless the people that knew me kind of knew that I was falling apart. But for the most part, you cannot judge that book by its cover. You can't. So next time, if you hear of someone is not feeling well or feeling down, sorry, I almost cried there, check on them. just say what's up, how you doing, even if they are happy and good going. Really try to get a little deeper. If you don't get nothing, you don't crack the vault, then no big deal, but at least you gave it a shot, and that's about it. So, is there another question here? That answers that one. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Hope things get better day by day. I answered that question in part 2. I'm doing good. I'm doing better. And things are getting better day by day. So with that said, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out to this week's podcast. Next week, we will have Coach Ames. Coach Ames, I'm going to interview him, I think, in 2 days. So we're going to have him on. I'm super excited for that. And I use the word super. I'm super excited because I haven't talked to him in a long time. And whenever I talk to him, it's always a great, great conversation. Always a great, great time. So guys, again, if you haven't, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Jersey to Vegas. If you haven't checked out our store, jerseytovegas.com, get some merchandise there like t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, flags, Goobalinis. I say Goobalinis, Scullies, and things of that nature, and definitely check out our YouTube channel if you haven't. All right, I'll see you guys later. This is Pete from Jersey to Vegas. This is Pete from Jersey to Vegas podcast, episode number 18. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and I do appreciate everything you guys have done for me. 100%, I do appreciate it. All right, guys, have a great day.